Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So I'm here today to do my November wrap up as well discuss a couple books I plan to read in this in December so far. So yeah, let's get started with the first book I was able to finish in November, which is The Monk by Matthew Lewis. And this is about a monk who his name is Amboso, and we follow him as he is tempted into a world of incest, murder, and torture by a young girl who has concealed herself in his monstrosity disguised as a boy. As Amboso spirals into hell, the reader encounters an array of haunting characters: the innocent virgin, the bleeding nun, the wandering Jew, the evil prioress, and Lucifer himself. And with this one, we just follow Amboso, who's this religious figure, as he is, corrupted by his desires that are frowned upon in the church, and how when he is introduced to such desires, it consumes him entirely to the point where not even God can help him overcome it. And we also follow a couple of love stories where societal standing and religious reasons stand in the way, as one is in a convent due to the parents' decisions and promises, and almost being tricked by an aunt into going through with these, orders. And yeah, I don't know. There's stuff I want to say, but at times I can see this being controversial when it came out, and I believe it was 1796, because it's almost anti-religious, it felt like at times, just because with Amboso and him not being able to go get through his desires and not be a godly man, as well with another character, and how religion is almost keeping her from the person she loves. So yeah, I don't know, this book was just quite straightforward at times through. And one thing I was confused about is the incest bit, just because it just felt like that was something that was just thrown in. I did not see any foreshadowing with this one at all, but yeah, I just found it quite interesting, and I gave it 4 stars in that. The next book I was able to finish in November is The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd. And this is about Nell Young's whole life and greatest passion is cartography. Her father, Dr. Daniel Young, is a legend in the field and Nell's personal hero. But she hasn't seen or spoken to him ever since he cruelly fired her and destroyed her reputation after an argument over an old cheap gas station map. But when Dr. Young is found dead in his office at the New York Public Library with the very same seemingly worthless map hidden in his desk, Nell can't resist investigating. To her surprise, she soon discovers that the map is incredibly valuable and exceedingly rare. In fact, she may now have the only copy left in existence, because a mysterious collector has been hunting down and destroying every last one, along with anyone who gets in the way. But why? To answer the question, Nell embarks on a dangerous journey to reveal a dark family secret and discover the true power that lies in maps. And with this one, we see, the obsession and the want of possession one is over an important discovery, and how they want to own it and hide it from other people. It's we see the protectiveness people feel over their discoveries and we need to protect those close to them. And we see the way of doing things in the field, old ways of pen and paper and versus new ways of involving technology, how those who are more, older in the field kind of look down on this new technology, on how it isn't really doing anything to the field, it's making things almost worse. And the whole thing is quite interesting, as with this we see how if you have a map, you are able to locate a place that shouldn't be there, and how in order it is to kind of trick competition and people who were plagiarizing, map makers would just invent a town that was not even real, and how those fake towns, because they're on the map, once you know they're there, they kind of become real, and it's about wanting to hide it because, well, it's your research, it's your discoveries, and it's like your baby, you're extremely protective over it, so, and wanting to find it again when you no longer have it. So yeah, I enjoyed this one, and I gave it 4 stars. The next book I finished, I sort of been on a wall with series this year, funny enough, and I've been finishing a lot of series because the next book is A Steeping of Blood, which is the second book in A Tempest of Tea series, I believe. I think it is a duology, but I'm not sure this is the actual name of the series, but anyway, this is the sequel to A Tempest of Tea. I'm gonna give the synopsis to A Tempest of Tea because this is the second book. But A Tempest of Tea is about this tea house, where by day it is tea house, a standard tea house, but by night it is a blood house meant for vampires who live in the city, and we follow Arthi, who has come to this country after her native country, I think that term is, has been colonized, and she is on, I guess, a mission to locate a ledge by this powerful figure, and she's just caught up in trying to take it in for a powerful dealer. So, yeah, and but with this, we see this picks up right after, I mean, the events of the first book, and we see the crew try to stop someone who wants to colonize every country she can to have the most amount of power, how they try to expose her, but she seems to just figure out their plans and know them, and it's just causing a lot of complications. There's a lot of mixed up emotion, especially when one of the characters, they find their parents who they thought who were dead for over a decade, and there's complicated emotions in the sense, are they working for this event willingly or not? I mean, even if they're not working willingly with them, they've not really done good stuff. So, and we also see Arthi, how she figures out where she belongs as someone who is an immigrant and isn't wholly accepted in her country due to her status and her ways, but no longer feels like she belongs in her homeland, and she no longer recognizes it due to the colonizers having changed it and ruined it. So there's that debate, and as well, what makes her who she is. So yeah, I did enjoy this one, and I think I gave it 4 stars. And the next book I finished in November is The Last Word by Taylor Adams, and this is probably every book reviewer's worst nightmare, as this is about Emma Carpenter, who lives alone, who lives in isolation with her golden retriever, house sitting in own beachfront home on the rainy Washington coast. Her only human contact is with her enigmatic elderly neighbor, Deke, and Viva attacks with the house owner Jules. One day she reads a poorly written but gruesome horror novel by the author H.G. Cain and posts a 1-star review that drags her into an online argument with none other than the author himself. Soon after, disturbing incidents start to occur at night. To Emma, this can be a coincidence. It was strange enough for this author to bicker with her online about a lousy review. Could he be stalking too? As Emma digs into Kane's life and work, she learns he has published 16 other novels, all similarly sadistic tales of stalking and murder. But who is he? How did he find her? And what else is he capable of? So, yeah, with this one, I did kind of who controls the narrative and how they write it and what they want the reader to feel, as Emma is telling what actually happened, but we also get guess the perspective of the author, and he's trying to make it seem the events occurred differently, and her mindset was in a different place. Because when he is telling the story, it's like she just gave up. She lost courage. She knew this was then, but from her perspective, we see she still had a lot of courage, and that was just quite interesting to see. And honestly, how some people shouldn't be writers if they can't handle criticism, and reminder that reviews are for readers. Because apparently H.G. Cain was planning to stalk everyone who gave him a 1-star review, so... And how people aren't who they seem they are, and how circumstances either controlled by a person or not can cause events to occur, so... That's really all I'm going to say about this, but this was quite interesting where this plot took, and with this there was a character who Emma kept going back and forth on. Should I be able to trust him? Should I not be able to trust him? Can I not? That's just quite interesting to see. And we do learn some of her personal life and background and what led her to be in this position, and that was all quite interesting, and enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And the next book I was able to finish in November is Recursion by Blake Crouch. This is about, at first, it looks like a disease, an epidemic that spreads through no known means, driving its victims mad with memories of a life they never lived. But the force that's sweeping the world is no hydrogen. It's just the first shockwave unleashed by a stunning discovery. And what's in jeopardy is not just our minds. In New York City, Detective Barry Sutton is closing in on the truth. In a remote laboratory, neuroscientist Helena Smith is unaware that she alone holds the key to this mystery, and the tools for fighting back. Together, Barry and Helena will have to confront their enemy, before they and the world are trapped in a loop of ever-growing chaos. And with this one, it was really, there is this chair that could allow a person to go back in time and rewind their story. However, when they and the people around them reach the day that the person sat in their chair and went back, they would have these memories of that other life. It was called false memory syndrome, I believe it was. And we see how the chair is used in the mindset people have about this chair, how one is like almost in both scenarios it is playing God. How one is like, it's not fair to allow people just to have this one life when you can have multiple lives or multiple lifetimes, or explore different options if they had different lives, I guess. While another is used by the government, and it's to prevent tragedies that occurred 2 days before, like a school shooting or something going wrong during the war, like a bombing in a place where the target wasn't even there. And we do see like the cause and effect and how it prevents the chair from being used to go back to the events that triggered World War I and II effort. How if World War I hadn't occurred, then someone's grandmother wouldn't have come to the US and your grandpa, and so forth and so forth. And that was quite interesting. We see Helena and Mary just try to destroy this chair because it is causing big problems for the world, and you just see them come together to figure things out. And that's all I'm going to say, but I very much enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. The last book I was able to finish in November was Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. And this is about Amara, who was once the beloved daughter of a Greek daughter until her father's death plunged her mother into desolation. Now Amara is a slave and a prostitute in Pompey's notorious Wolf Den brothel, or Lupinar, owned by a cruel and ruthless man, intelligent and resourceful. She is forced to hide her true self, but her spirit is far from broken. Buoyed by the sisterhood she forges with the baffles other women. Amara finds solace in the laughter and hopes they all share, for the streets of the city are alive with opportunity. Here, even the lowest-born slave can dream of a new beginning. But everything in Pompeii has a price. How much will Amara's freedom cost her? And with this, we see Amara, she's just trying to make her way through life. She has accepted that this is her circumstances and kind of doesn't really see her chance of freedom of occurring, and so she is put into positions where that she takes advantages of to better her circumstances, and to the point where she is able to get a patron who she tries to win or buy her freedom. And we see as the women around her and the people around her this, I guess, struggle, because Felix, the brothel owner, he's ruthless and he's cruel and he takes everything from them, and so they basically have nothing, and remind them like this is their place. Like he won't even allow them to keep tips or anything, and they're gonna sell it and buy their own freedom, and he wants to keep them in their place in society. And see just try and not stop that, but try to get around that. And there were points where I was worried that he'll figure out what was going on and would be extremely cool, which thankfully wasn't the case. Yeah. Overall, I did like this. It was this. What is the term I want to use? Like slice of life. There we are. Of what her life is like and what the life of like someone in her position is like during this time period, I guess. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it and I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, that is everything I was able to read in November and what I plan to read in December. So far, everything I read in December will be in my December wrap up. But the next book I plan to start is the Lost Village by Camille Stan, translated by Alexandra Fleming. And this is about documentary filmmaker Alice Landstedt has been obsessed with the vanishing residents of an old mining town dubbed The Village since she was a little girl. In 1959, her grandmother's entire family disappeared in a mysterious tragedy, and ever since the unanswered questions surrounding the only 2 people who were left, a woman stoned to death in the town center and an abandoned newborn, have plagued her. She gathered a small crew of friends in a remote village to make a film about what really happened. But there will be no turning back. Not long after they've set up camp, strange things begin to happen. Equipment is destroyed, people go missing, as doubt breeds fear and their very minds begin to creak. One thing becomes startlingly clear to Alice: they are not alone. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about that. And the next book I plan to read after that is The Story of a New Name by Elena Ferrante. Oh my god, Elena? Yeah. And this is translated by Anne Goldstein, and this is the 2nd book in the Neapolitan novels, the first book being My Brilliant Friend. As this is the sequel to My Brilliant Friend, I will just discuss My Brilliant Friend, which are these 2 girls who grow up in a small neighborhood in Italy. I don't remember the exact city, but we see them grow and we just follow them throughout their lives, essentially. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about this one, and yeah. So that is everything I read in November and what I plan to read in December so far. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been reading recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post it.